I think it's better than getting the guy himself, the author.
Oh, well, I'm excited, and let's welcome everybody
Dude,
to
I'm a
BioBooks.
better booker than
Lead
Dave
in?
Colonnade.
That's not a bad lead in. He's talking about the book that we're doing tonight, which is NeuroTribes, uh, a Legacy of Autism. And I forget the rest of that tagline. Do you remember what it is?
In the future of neurodiversity.
Well, that's a great point because that is that's the point of the book, and I think we were starting to hit on that as we finished the last episode, so to speak. That I think what the author is trying to do, it comes across pretty quick. Like, oh well, we're about a third to half.
It's concrete and common sense.
It,
Like that, the way he describes it, like no.
Well, and what we're talking about is sort of, I mean, I think, and this is definitely my take on it. But I mean, it's in the title. Like, I think he's trying to move the conversation past sort of a diagnosis of somebody with autism and more learning to live with people that think differently than you, like a lot differently.
Well, yeah,
Sort of,
yeah, like Sorry,
that's okay. Well, here's the thing, though. So, trying to see the world through that prism, like when you're dealing with people with autism along the spectrum, as opposed to like trying to fix them or prescribe a drug for them.
what he's really doing, if you think about it, is he's getting away from the medical model and sort of saying it's just another type of person.
Right. And
It's humanizing, you know, people thinking differently.
and that's where we were when we.
Makes
And
sense.
that's kind of where we were when we left off last week or 2 weeks ago, which is the dehumanizing of the people. We were in Germany, and
Yeah, Asperger's, the guy who is credited from Vienna who discovered it, figured it out first. He if he continued and the Nazis didn't happen, right? I really believe that it would have started as dehumanizing it and talking to it as it's a different way of thinking and being.
right, and
And it went another direction that just sort of it could never recover from. For
well,
50 years.
World War II ruined a lot of things for a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. But that is what happened. But also, while Asperger's did discover it, so to speak, at the exact same time, the other side of the world in America, you have Canner, who's also working with a set of his own kids.
He basically, because of it, was able to sort of lean off the people that came. So people came that were Jewish doctors in Vienna to America, and Cantor saved a lot of people, but he also was able to use their knowledge from working with Asperger's to sort of take credit for discovering autism. And he was the first child psychologist. Nobody ever thought to do that before him, so his name carried a lot of sway.
Well, as you read about Canner, because the book goes right into Canner, it's Canner and Asperger's, and they kind of go back and forth, which is sort of what they were doing in a way. And the book in general, at the start of the book, you get sort of a brief view of both of them, and you just come away like, oh, this Canner guy is a dick. And then they go through the history of him, and I kind of started to like him. And I really started to sort of relate to him a lot in a lot of different ways. I think he was more a product of the time and his circumstances. He just happened to get the kids that, however you want to put it, further along on the spectrum or with like more needs. But
yeah, perhaps that's good.
Right.
Yeah,
so he's working with these kids, and
he said stuff like this. This is what I mean. Like, what the difference was, like, where Asperger's would write and it'd be so elegant. Cantor is just saying basically like the world needs garbage men, and the world needs like dishwashers and sewage people. These people won't ever do anything of relevance.
Okay, so there's two things. One thing is something that you said that I just want to talk about as a side note, so we'll come back to it, remind me, which is just the way that they write about each other. I just want to give that some time. But before we do that, that's what I'm saying. He's sort of a product of his time, and he's trapped in that mind thinking. You don't see it. You can't see it any more clear than when him and one of his colleagues from the Mayo Clinic, or he's somewhere out in like the Midwest.
John Hopkins.
Yeah.
His like mentor. They said at one time like 10% of American psychologists went through him.
Yeah.
So that's how like.
So these two guys are out there in the Midwest, and they're developing their own theory about autism, but I love it because the way they come about it is like this sort of the genetic thing with the syphilis, the story.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. So they discover that there's a population that just doesn't get syphilis, and it's Native Americans, and they theorize, and it turns out science proves them right in the future that like there just was no syphilis in the new country. So there was no syphilis in the old country. So like the people over in Europe that had syphilis, when they brought it over here, it one way or the other, none of the Native Americans had syphilis. They find this one guy with syphilis who's like a purebred Native American, and they're floored by it. They go out to visit him, and it turns out that like he's not pure. He's not. He is the chief of the tribe, or the people, so to speak. And the two things that they come away with is that like there's a genetic component that this is something that's happening because of like something in the blood, so to speak. And the second thing is that this is what they write about. The only reason that he is in this position, this elevated position of like chief tribes, is because he has some of this nice European blood.
Right.
It's just, I just thought that cracked me up, but it cracked me up in the sense that like that's their world. Like that was like that makes that all made sense to them. So you gotta kind of. I'm just left wondering, like. Canner, how bad of a guy was he really? Like, or
it seems like he was very. I guess the guy I would describe now, the guy from Toronto, Jason Peterson, is that his name? He talked like very like manly and very on.
Oh, Jordan Peterson, I love that guy.
Peterson. Yeah. That's
so
what he sort of has that smugness about him.
Okay.
Right.
He comes across that way for sure. Yeah. Jordan Peterson does, yes.
And I also think, like you were saying, he is a product of his time. So
yeah,
there's thoughts and theories. Sort of towards the end, when it came to light and there was the proof about Asperger's, he was sort of a dick about that.
Right, and
it makes a lot of sense.
Again, I like I said, I went back and forth with Canner, and as the book reads out, because
I can't say Asperger's is a nice guy though, because he fucking gave the really severely. I was reading a little bit about him, the really severely disabled, like the ones he couldn't work with, to like those death hospitals.
Well, didn't his hospital become a death hospital at one point too? I mean, like, nobody looks good coming out of World War II. And actually, that was a sub story that we were going to talk about, which was sort of actually let's just get right into that, which is so Americans come over and we just snatch up as many of these smart people as we can. They're all Nazis. They were all at least somewhat working with Hitler, but
you know why that is. Like, I was watching a documentary, and there was 100,000 people that were part of the like Nazi party here in America.
Oh,
like from
So,
19, like from the like,
well,
and
and they were
they had
marching.
Hitler.
Yeah, they were
They had
proud. I mean, it was another party.
Yeah, it's this cool documentary called "Chasing Hitler," because there's some theories that he's still
Oh,
alive in like
yeah, down
parts
in
of
Brazil.
Chile and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's where a lot of that's where they went chasing after him was down there. They made a couple pretty good movies about it too. The Boys of Brazil or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one in the
That's the one
'70s.
where they steal his like just
DNA.
a million of his semen. And
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Did you
they just
see
make
the?
clones.
Did you watch Archer?
No.
They have a season where, like, well, it doesn't matter. It's a cartoon, anyways. But one of the characters.
Oh, I know about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the characters may be like a clone of Hitler.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
It was just good.
It
It's a
is
good show.
funny. It is funny.
So my question, just sort of the step to the side of the story is like, of course, it's morally reprehensible, but like it got us to the moon without a doubt. Let's just start there. Like, NASA was just full of Germans who were making rockets to drop on Britain essentially. In fact, Werner von Braun, the guy who was essentially headed up NASA, was making the rockets to blitz or whatever they were calling it, London. And then we got him. Then we brought him over here, and he pretty much helped us. I think it was a Saturn V. I don't know, and I don't know enough about it to talk too smart about it. What's
your
that?
favorite Nazi?
Is he my favorite Nazi?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a fun game.
Yeah. Dr. Mingla.
Yeah.
Like the most interesting to me.
Well, we kind of joke about it because I think we talked a little bit about it last week, but
the serial killers,
by the time
their brains were weird.
And with these Germans and the Nazis, but by the time they get to the kids in these hospitals, I mean the foundation has already been laid to just start putting them down, euthanizing them.
Immediately, as soon as the Nazis got into power.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, go to Code Red.
Well, again, I talk about the time, the day, and the age. Like, you have the head of this one hospital, writing to parents saying, if your kid, died, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And the parents are like, no, it wouldn't be that bad. It's like, and that's
because they would have like 8 kids. Back then, you would have like 8 kids. So like, what's one kid that was a mess up?
That's fair enough. And
their government and the propaganda arm of like the Nazis was just like brainwashing people. They were really good at it.
They as Germans are, they become very efficient at it. There's one specific hospital that they start sending the kids to. Some of the parents catch wind. Now, maybe you can help me with the story. I must have missed something. There's a child, an older girl. This is getting towards the end of
Hitler's first cousin. Is that the story?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's the girl. And so Hitler's sister comes to the hospital to plead and figures like she's a Hitler.
Right.
So like, you guys are listening to me, but they didn't. And I guess like the top doctor of that hospital fell in love with her.
Right. So
then like the bigwigs got mad at him and they sent him to like a prison.
Yeah, he winds up dead because of it, right? I mean, like he winds up. I think they eventually he winds up on the front lines.
That's it. And he becomes a POW in a Russian gulag.
That's right, and where he actually does sort of. Apparently, those Russian gulags must have been something else. Did you ever read the Archipelago? I mean, it's bad. So he kind of had a change of heart, and they mentioned in the book that one of these founding new way of thinking doctors, I think it was, sort of runs into him in the POW camp in Russia, and he's like this saint apparently. But I mean, who knows? Again, you're hearing these stories, and that gets back to the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about.
It was about survival too. For a lot of them, their brains would tell them like, just do what they say and you get through this 4 years or whatever.
And they, they do these studies. You see the studies all the time about it. It's just easy to get people like in masses to just start following whatever.
Yeah,
you
it's like your brother, your uncle, your mother, your father. Like, what are you gonna not join or be part of it?
Right, and they're turning, they were turning on each other and turning each other in and everything else. So I get you get
Imagine
it.
getting killed because you fell in love with the wrong person.
No kidding, right?
Not just killed though. They were like, we'll use your fucking muscles and send you to a gulag. And
Well, here's the thing, though. Don't fall in love with somebody with the last name Hitler. I think that's pretty much a golden rule. Should have been even then.
right.
Another thing that sort of keeps popping up in my head that I kind of wanted to talk about is I love how these guys talk about each other, like in their writings and stuff. Like, obviously not Canner, but I do want to get back to Canner and how he was talking about Asperger's and what sort of that dynamic and how that sort of spun off into autism, or being autistic, so to speak. But before we get to that, I just want to say, like, is that still going on today? Like, do academics write these prose, these like flowery things about each other? And
I think like sometimes, but like I've recently seen it like these psychologists go, or these autistic PhDs go after people that do pro like ABA, not BCBA work, but ABA work.
Yeah, right.
And then the people the doctor of ABA will write an article saying where the psychologist was wrong, and they go back and forth. Interesting.
Like in like white papers, so to speak.
Yeah. Like
I do like that. So I've read some of that stuff, not with the autism, but I've read that before. I do like that sort of that high level sniping at each other.
It's like 1v1, but like.
So yeah, and that's the thing. That is that same vein. So I guess it is going on. It's just you only see it when you're reading these books, I guess, or you're in that world. That's kind of why I wanted to.
I follow a lot of autistic writers and like PhD. Surprise, surprise, they're really good at Twitter. Like, like they know how to how to make it concise.
Oh yeah. That's that's what I love about Twitter is you're limited in those characters, yet you're still trying to get a point across. I wish I spelled better.
Oh, same.
And read things.
Did you get the new update on your?
I still haven't. I thought I would just go to bed and it says it's going to do it. I have so much shit on my phone that I got to delete a bunch of stuff to get enough room to download.
Oh, dude, because the new dictation's much better. It does.
I know.
It will do periods and commas now.
So let's stick with the book here, and then we'll roll into the wrap up, which is not a lot of wrap up. I'll just tell all my fans because I didn't even hear the show today. Daddy.
Let's talk about the neurodiversity and sort of that new way of thinking.
Exactly, and let's the special announcements. Well, there's a bunch of different special announcements. But we kind of at the top of the show said that.
We booked a guest.
Sig booked a guest.
Yeah.
Well,
so in the book we're reading, the author tells a story about this family who went through from the early 2000s to 2005, 11, sort of a really long time. They latched onto the no-vax movement.
Certainly we will not speak for her because she will be on next week to tell us. But the way that I interpreted the book is here's a family that rolled headlong into
listening to the so-called experts.
Yeah.
So it's like these people sort of took advantage of them, and then now it's sort of she learned that it needs to be taught humanely, and
Do you have her? Do you have her name? I know that she
Shannon Del Roche Rosa.
Leo Rosa is her son that is diagnosed with.
Yeah, so I followed before I read this book for a couple of years. I followed her account.
Yeah.
She's like a big advocate in this new sort of, it's called neurodivergent affirming care. So it's sort of all about, instead of treating people with like ADHD and autism with like a medical issue, you treat it as like it's just another different way of living.
It's a way of living, right? And that's the thing, and that's exactly it, and that's what the title of the book kind of says, and that's sort of what dawned on me the day after our last show was that's what we're talking about here. Is like, I mean, in a lot of ways, whether you want to talk about diagnosis or not, I see so much of myself inside of these kids. It's the ones in the books for sure, but my wife is a BCBA and has her master's in autism along the spectrum. And so, I also see, not just the kids in the book. And actually, you know what? I didn't tell you this, right? So for did I tell you this? For 2 years, I worked with a special needs kid who's kind of special needs like me. We built the Game Boy. Did I ever show you that?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
That's
what
I want for you to make me for Christmas.
Yeah, it was fun, but he was very much me. That kid, we were just sitting, and it's so interesting.
Are you in touch with him still?
Sarah stays in touch with him and with the mother, the family. But no, not so much. And it's just I'm not good at that stuff. Really not.
Yeah, and if it's two of you, you're both aren't gonna remember.
We were good. The one thing we were good at was that project. We were working on the project and stuff. In fact, it's still out because the audio needs to be fixed on it. I kind of want to fix the audio and send it to him, but I mean, it's been a long time.
You should. He would love that.
Too, right? And it's in great shape. I was looking at it maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Probably the last time I showed it to you, I had it out. And yeah. So.
Yeah. And so it's more or less just retrain. Basically, people just have to relearn that idea that using functioning labels and sort of just pathologizing every single.
It's a battle because you have people almost exactly I'm sure there's more people out there like me who I get where you're coming from, but that's a big ask. I mean,
it is. No, I know, but it's also because it's mostly autistic advocates that are autistic themselves saying this.
Yeah.
So it's how do you they're saying it hurts our feelings and shit like that, So how do you say no to this person who has a PhD and just happens to be autistic?
That's you. Did you send me any articles? I know I told you to send me a couple things. I know you sent me one thing that I didn't look at, but you should send me some of those some of the stuff from the autistic people. I'd like to read some of that.
Yeah. I'll definitely show you some accounts.
I would think by the next show we should be almost done. I'd say we're
I think that'll be okay. I think
20. What did you say?
We can do more KMS next week and introduce chaos and maybe start it.
Yeah. I want to get Center Wrong on.
Did he already read it?
He started reading it I think before we talked about it or something.
Yeah,
but
have him join in for the.
Yeah, I was gonna. I think he wound up getting a Twitter jail, suspended for something. I didn't.
He can go to my burners if he wants.
I'll let him know. But I like him, and he went to soccer with me. He's a think he went to school for like political science or something like that. So he's a really interesting cat, and it should be a fun read. And then like I said, I think last week, I think Vigilant Dave might be on board too. It sounds like sounds like he's into the book for sure. I didn't reach out because I reached out. So last week I was sick, and I was still going to try and put something together, and I just got progressively sicker and sicker. But what it helped me realize is that I can't do 2 shows at all. Like, I mean, like, it's just too much. I'm going to sort of cut the book show for a Friday night thing because I feel very much like I should put something out Friday night for after Hit the Post at the very least. But I just can't do it. I don't know what I was thinking that I could do like 2 days in a Friday night. That's bizarre. Like my kid, I had stuff going on with the kids. I think what it was the summer. Everyone was out of the house, and I had a bunch of extra free time. So,
totally.
You know,
the circumstances were different.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I said before we started the show, I just sort of got myself into that mindset, like I almost felt responsible to the 5, the other guys on the channel, to put some content out. And I do feel responsible for that. That's why I want to sort of work on editing and cutting up the BioBooks show, sort of like just.
That would be cool. Like, if you could get good with clips, you could almost do like a DEC-esque minute fan show.
Exactly. Well, you know, and part of me wanted to do that when I first had a full head of steam and I came on board, like came into it. I got the software. I was using OBS and things like that, and cutting stuff up, and it was fun, and I like doing it. But it's a little bit more time consuming than I have. This is a good place to just roll right into the wrap-up show anyways, the wrap-up section, and talk about KMS Reloaded. What a great sort of example of what not to do, or at the very least what not to do if you want to be part of it. But I didn't hear today's show, so he could be right back in the mix. And Kirk, still.
I think basically what was decided right after today's show, they were basically like, he's not going to do like production. He's not going to be like,
that's what I was saying.
He's just going to do bits and prove his worth, you know?
Yeah. That's what they were
asking Cullinade for like a press pass today to go to a Portland Sea Dogs game.
Well, see that, and I think he could be like, I just like Kirk said, of course, whatever Kirk says is right. Yeah, he'll be fantastic for that stuff. Think of how simultaneously cool and awful it would be to be a chick, like to win a date with him for the show. If you were
who would do chick,
that? Well, it would be awesome and terrible. So I love the idea, and I love the idea. I love where Kirk's head's at with it, you know. And I also love where Kirk's head's at with hiring intern Harris back. Hilarious. So in line with just the show and everything, and he was good at his job. So,
yeah, totally. Hold on.
I got excited. I really thought I could do that. The clips thing.
Yeah, that was when. Let me get my dog.
See what else? So yeah, I feel bad about that. About the Friday show. But like I said, I think I have dance with my daughter, and even today, just trying to get something together as far as the show goes, like video. He's distracting me. I'm gonna take him off the screen. Oh yeah. Yeah. So once I get a little bit faster at cutting up the video and things like that, maybe I can do a Friday show. But even then, I'm not going to do a Friday show on Fridays because that's dumb. I've got so much going on. I don't know.
Dude, you don't owe it to anybody.
No, it wasn't even like that. It was just sort of like,
as long as you don't take my Thursday show away.
I said I'm very proud of BioBooks as a show, and I think that like as I get better at it, I think it could become something really cool because
it's a brand, not a show. It's a brand.
A brand. But I like well, I mean, I like talking about the books I read, and I always wanted to just have a book club, anyways, because nobody else talks about KMS in my life, and nobody else talks about the books that I read in my life. So
right, totally.
yeah. So
that was the whole idea, and it was like I'm not going to read on my own.
Is it cold up there, by the way? What's the temperature up there?
Like probably like 50 degrees.
I was telling Sarah that it's supposed to get down in the 40s. In fact, I got to bring my other plants in. I have a citrus tree out there that's going to die. Oh, hey, check out my pot plant.
55 degrees. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I think it's time to take it outside. It definitely needs water, too. I'm going to try and get on the 420 show and have them tell me what to do.
Do you have a light set up in the house?
Just these behind me here. I do, yes. On the other side, of the house, I do have grow lights, but they're more for like seasonal depression and stuff. They work really well for the.
Nice.
Yeah, they work really well for the plants too, though. I mean, they're full spectrum lights and everything else. So that's how these got to where they're at now.
Who uses them for this? You use them for the seasonal.
Well, it was just sort of I put them up for my wife, but it was a happy sort of in between. What do you think of the haircut? She did this, by the way.
Oh, it doesn't look that bad.
It looks great. I think it looks great. She put a rubber band.
Well, you wouldn't know that you like that from.
I'll tell you this much. I said, I think I tweeted that it was, saved me like $80. Without a doubt, it saved me $60, and it probably saved me $100 because I can't take my son out of the house without dropping another $40, on like food or toys or something. So it was a good. I will never get my hair cut from anywhere else again, and I'll just start shaving it right down to nothing if I have to. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I really like.
Oh, you're quiet. You're real quiet. I don't know if that's. That might be your mic.
Oh shit.
Mm.
Hold on.
So, but this the show was great this week. I missed today's obviously. He's in a good rhythm. I had notes. I didn't have time to write anything down though. All right, I had plenty of time to write stuff down. I didn't have any time to transfer it over into an outline or anything. Yeah, but the KMS Reloaded stuff, it went way fast. Did you think it was gonna I thought they could just drag it out a little bit longer, but again, like you said, they're gonna do little radio gig, radio shtick.
I think he's gonna still. He does at least one clip every show that he does. That they'll talk about because he's actually really funny.
Well, that's the other thing I was about to say. And that brings up another good point, which is that Rico is really, really funny too, and he does at least two calls a show, and they're pretty good. Even when he just sort of calls in and just does Jerry, that was pretty funny.
The Mike Francesa one was really funny.
The Mike Francesa one was but it was so long and so thought out. And I think he must have done that before or something. It was
no. I think that's what he's known for.
Oh, he's known for. Oh, okay. Right, he's from down there too. That's right. You sent me something about Jersey Jerry that I didn't read. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, it's this rant he did on about Jiffy Lube.
Oh, okay. Was it
he calls him a cookie or something. Cookie cutter mechanics or something. He is really good at those angry rant videos.
Ooh, I should watch those. I like that. I had a couple of those. I was working on a couple of those today for different things.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed Mike lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I say that every time. But Mike is. He's good. I mean, he's solid. I like where Greg Polar's at with the show, which is sort of in Time Out. It seems like.
Right.
And let's see.
Yeah, like Mike is.
Dripper.
Mike is I'm trying to think of a sports athlete.
I know what you mean. Like like a great backup, like
Yeah. Not like Scottie Pippen. He's not that good. He's not like going to be an all-star.
Vinny Testaverde. Vinny Testaverde.
Maybe Doug Flutie was reliable.
Doug Flutie was reliable. Kicked around a bunch of different. Somebody who kicked around a bunch of different teams, but could be a starting quarterback. Like
Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe is a great. Well, no, Drew Bledsoe isn't perfect example, but I'll think about it. We'll come back to it. We'll get a good idea. What did you think of the porn star?
I didn't listen to it. Actually.
You didn't listen to the interview at all?
No.
Well, I will tell you that
Well, she was like a childhood crush of mine, so I didn't want to ruin it.
Oh, really? See, I don't know. I missed that whole show. I was at least.
Yeah, you were too mature.
Yeah. So, no, you know what my biggest takeaway was? Like, I have a daughter, and it's not even that I think that it's a bad profession or anything. All I can think about is like, you just got to give these. You have to give. There's some girls that just need a whole hell of a lot of attention, and like.
Yeah, but I don't.
That's her problem at all. In fact, she seemed like she had her head on straight. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not.
I don't think she could just have like a sex addiction.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even like I'm not talking about her in general. I'm just saying like what dawned on me is like halfway through the thing, all I was really thinking about is, oh, I have a daughter. You know, it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was okay. And like I said, I like her. She seemed like she had her head on straight. And
it's hilarious. Like, once the interview got going, you could tell she wasn't like pretending.
Pretending. Oh no, yeah.
Just like talk about it so nonchalantly. Like, I found out I'm really good at anal, and that was pretty new for this profession.
I didn't understand. Like, she's mad at her cast members. I don't like. I mean,
I guess like if I did a porn, right?
Yeah.
And like, I came back to work. Would I guess, what does she expect?
I mean, like, it's even more like if like you did a porn and then at your class reunion everybody didn't come up to you and high five you and say how awesome it was.
Yeah,
is what it feels like. It's like, lady, it is porn still. I mean, like, there's a and all of your friends were on a Disney show. I mean, like, what? I think she's so comfortable in her own skin and in that world that she's just shocked that other people aren't, and like that's all that is. I mean, like, I don't think anybody's being mean to her. Well, maybe that producer, but that producer probably tried to rape her anyways, allegedly, or maybe allegedly. And all I'm saying is like you hear about that stuff all the time. I'm not speaking of anybody specifically.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but it was a pretty good interview for the most part.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I love the Fred Couples storyline ongoing and just getting more and more like convoluted.
Dave's so funny.
Yeah, he's
so afraid of Kirks.
I like how Kirk gave him an ultimatum, told him he was gonna fire him if he didn't find somebody within 2 weeks, and then like within the same show found somebody for him.
Well, I think Dave needs direction more.
So let's see.
Like
Dave.
where like Steve, I think, is a lot more suave business-wise and has a little bit more street smarts, I would say.
How did you like the Steve show? I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was.
My favorite line was the estrogen line. It smells like estrogen.
He's really good, and like I think what I think
I like Dave more for the show though. More content gets delivered from Dave, and
Dave is intentional. So Steve is intentionally funny, right? But the funnier stuff with Steve is kind of similar to me, which is just it's not so much intended to be funny as it's just leaned into as funny. Like he's weird. Like Steve is weird. Like some of the stuff he does is weird, and it comes across really funny, at least to me.
Well, like today, the episode's named Thrice.
Oh, the Thrice. That's a great example of it. Yeah, yeah. Was that today's episode? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that episode. I think that was yesterday's. But yeah, him said Thrice. I relate to that stuff too. But I also used to listen to him on Howie Carr, and I liked him on Howie Carr a lot too.
Yeah.
So that, that was nice to have him back. He's definitely in the fold, huh? It sounds like he's going to produce another season of the Case.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have him on.
There's no way. It's not Dr. Dan, right? Season 2 of the Case isn't going to be Dr. Dan.
It's got to be Dr. Dan.
It's not?
No, it's got to be.
No, I bet you it's not. Well, so here's my thing, right?
Did you be 3 episodes?
What's that?
Because
it's only going to be 3 episodes? Oh, okay. Well, my thing was right so far. That was my thing. Is so when they talked about it, Kirk asked Dave if he was comfortable or how he felt about it, and Dave said, "Oh, I don't feel good about it at all." And then they went back and forth with that sort of like mystery talk, so to speak, and it just made me think that I thought maybe they were gonna do like another case, like live almost, like they have something else going on, and
I think they're going back
back to the Dr. Dan stuff.
Yeah,
okay, well that's good too, and I mean like that makes sense. He said that it wasn't going to be a big thing if they did it. It's just that it's dragged out so long.
I listened to him on the Dave Portnoy show, and he said the second season's not like he doesn't want to do a murder investigation or missing persons after every episode, like every season, and like do a case though. So I think it's interesting. So I was reaching out to Dave because I know some of the like trauma experts. Like I could reach out to them because I've done these pilot projects, and Dave, one of the persons I was going to reach out to him, Dave was like, we thought of reaching out to her.
Oh really?
Yeah, she was one of the, so for like 2 seasons she was on that show, Married at First Sight as marriage counselor.
Oh yeah. I mean I don't know her, but I know that show. Yeah.
And then I guess like one of the couples didn't work out, and she ended up marrying like the guy from it.
That sounds crazy.
It is crazy. They're doing a reality show, so
that's what I was about to say. That world is insane anyways. Like if you say that you want to get involved in it, even doing this type of thing, it takes sort of an attitude that is tough for me to sort of muster. Like there's a level of feeling like people want to hear what you have to say. That's tough for me because like I spent my whole life either trying to have people avoid talking to me or not wanting to hear what I have to say.
That's a funny way of describing it, but it's the truth.
Right? I mean, that is what it is. The more and more I think about it, like if we're gonna sort of spin back into the autism book and the NeuroTribes thing is
hard. If you're autistic, your whole life surrounds it. You can never like run past it.
Well, that's the thing. It is like again, like I said,
it's an important thing though, is learning everything about yourself and sort of what works. So then you can start like informing people and.
Right. And the thing about it is that if I never had a diagnosis, and I still haven't had a diagnosis, but this fits so well. It answers any of my questions. Like any sort of scenario that I ask myself about, if I place myself in it, sort of turning up all of these idiosyncrasies that I have that I spent a lifetime suppressing. So if I put myself back into the situations that I remember from my past, and I just sort of amp up my own personality in that story, then everything falls into a line. Like other people's reactions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I would come away from interactions confused because I confused the people around me, and then they were confused.
Yeah.
But if I build into the scenario that I like that I have these attributes, these autistic attributes, it helps explain the my life a lot better. Not sadly, but interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
So.
can start like sort of
Right, knowing what to ask for, and I think that that's a real interesting point, and something that we should probably hit upon with Leo's mom.
Yeah.
Is like,
Yeah, like it's almost like because of your ability to navigate the world, and during the time before it was really a big spectrum, you sort of can now start doing it as an adult and sort of make conscious decisions and stuff.
well, it's all very much up in my consciousness. Like, I think before I went to therapy, before whatever happened a few years ago happened, it was all happening in my subconscious. I mean, like, I was doing all of these sort of these
mechanisms. Your brain was wired like.
Well, I was wired for it, and I mean, like, I was in my 40s, right? Like I really had sort of slugged and shrugged through life and pieced it together pretty well. I mean, really well, really, when you think of it. It would have been helpful. It would have been helpful to have that to point at. Like, I think I told you, even in some of the weirder circumstances, I found myself like explaining to people, I'm pretty sure I have autism. So just cut me a little slack here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important.
It's very helpful. It's been very helpful at least twice in public to sort of be like, I'm gonna need a second here, because the situation we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Some people carry around non-speak, like parents, if their child doesn't talk, they carry around a card. So if somebody in public gives them shit, they hand them the card, like, introduce them. This is Arthur. He's autistic and doesn't speak. He uses a board, and sometimes he gets in other personal space. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the thing is, and once it's spoken, or once somebody reads it, and once it's out there, like
it changes the tone.
Yes, exactly, and for like the things that I'm coming upon, and it may be in general, but it's like it also helps you learn what to ask for and how to ask for it.
And then it's like a double thing. You're getting your needs met, but it's forcing you to notice what you need.
Mm-hmm,
or like sometimes I've been doing that with my ADHD, like sort of being more vocal about like how it affects me.
Yeah, I like that too. And so far, I mean, like I said, it's only happened a couple times, and I don't want it to have to happen. I mean, like, we're talking, like, I gotta be.
Of course not. No. but like, I think it's okay to say it if it needs to be said.
Yeah. Like, but that's part of this book too. That's part of this whole neurodiversity thinking, is what the author wants to get across, what Leo's mom wants to get across, and I think it's like it would be a better place if we thought about things. What was it we were talking about today? That it was my therapist. It was like
yeah. Let's talk.
She has very much.
Talk about it live. I just wanted to remind you.
I'm not gonna rat her out or say anything bad. It was just that we were going back and forth, and if I could get her to sort of look at the world through my eyes, I think we would have been able to come to a better agreement about the disagreement today.
Yeah, for people who, like, it's hard though to understand. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but it's like pain when you're in a social situation.
It is like pain. It is. It's tough. It really is. I never understood why, but now I think I kind of do, or at least it's a little bit. It makes a little bit more sense. It's easier to have something to point to about it.
Is it the loudness of things?
I don't know. I know it's.
I wonder if you're wearing like headphones or something that.
No, it's not the. I actually. No, I need more. I need more noise, not less. Like.
What would be helpful to think about is getting a an OT evaluation for your sensory needs.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. Like, I kind of want to get the neuropsych, but just we were talking about that too, right? So I don't know for adults, but Allison on the T was absolutely right. Like, they told my wife 6 months to 2 years for my daughter for workup for the same place that we had my son done.
Yeah.
I guess it's gotten a lot smaller. The department has gotten a lot smaller, and they got a lot more people.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Yeah. And it's because of the pandemic. It just set everything back. Because, like, it's really hard to do a neuropsych on an autistic child.
I can imagine.
Not in person.
Yeah.
Like video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I can't even imagine, how you would do that. One second.
Have you ever had a neuropsych?
No, not at all.
When you ask me if I watched,
I went with his. Come on.
If the fact, when you say, like, when I talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Yeah.
you say, like, do you watch or just listen to the explanation videos? I'm watching part 4 or episode 1, and it's getting good.
Part 4 of episode 1, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Mom?
No idea.
She never came back out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, just to let you know, if you're wondering, it takes place.
They can't see you. Come over.
It takes place in Moriocho, which is a town that
he gets a haircut too.
The main character lives in, and there's a bunch of other characters that you're gonna meet, so on, and some of them will develop stands.
What makes them interesting?
Yeah, what makes them interesting, Finn? Why do you like this show? No.
There's like a million things. One of the things is I like the idea of, like.
Well, can you give me 5 of them? 5?
5 what?
5 of the interesting things. He said
5 interesting things about.
I don't need a million. I just want 5.
The first one is the stands. I like the idea of how stands are a manifestation of your soul or something, and like it can manifestation on thoughts and stuff. And I also like the abilities of the stands. But one of the other things is I like the musical references of the stands, the characters, everything. Like Dirty Deeds Done Cheap.
Okay, all right, go. I'll explain what the stands are to him. Go, get out of here. Shut the door behind you.
Also explain, and also make certain references to other stuff.
Go, shut the door.
Like Princess Bride.
Oh, really? That's a cool show.
I've yet to get my head around it. I guess he's just started watching it. He watches like the recaps of the show on YouTube, but it's like it's a Japan animation. The weird thing about this one, right, is they have these stands, right, like stands, but they're like spirits that I don't know. It's he didn't shut the door. He didn't shut the door, by the way.
Is he gonna? Wow, dude, I'm a mandated reporter. You cannot use the.
Yeah, I heard you, and I had to correct you. But they're a manifestation of your soul, and
Go.
they're fighting type stands.
I'm gonna lock the door.
And people can have stands if they're.
Hey, Finn, it's a school night. You better go to bed.
Yeah, it is a school night. Shut the door and go to bed. Look what I found at Savers.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, right? It's like, it's in almost perfect shape too. I'm gonna try and clean it up.
Are you gonna turn it into like a MP3 player?
I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that or not. Like that was so. The two thoughts are either just to try and refurbish it, like to make it kind of look brand new. But I don't think I can do that because like the plastic is colored and stuff. So that was the next thing is like gut the inside and turn it into like some type of like computer, MP3 player, so to speak.
That'd be cool.
Wait, if I ever have time. I mean, it's just one of those things.
There's this record store that buys those sort of boom boxes.
Well, that
could be like a $200 one.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, like that is exactly what I think about when I think about a boombox from my childhood. Like,
yeah.
As far as nostalgia goes, that thing is like it.
Yeah. Hold on.
I have 3 comments, but I'm afraid to read them. Like, there's never anything good on the internet as far as comments go, anyways. So
Robbie V's in the chat. He was saying. He was saying. Let's see. It's definitely going to turn colder in the next week.
Oh, that's good.
Saturday will probably be our last day in the 80s.
Well,
That's good me. I don't mind that.
No, I like this weather. I like this time of the year.
It's awesome. You can still go swimming at the beach.
There's just you can't beat it. Absolutely, because the water's warmer this time of year. Like it gets warmer until like.
Yeah, but worse is getting out because it's warmer. The water's warmer than the air.
Oh yeah, exactly. But so I love this time of year, and then it rolls right into Thanksgiving
season.
What's that?
Apple picking season.
Apple picking season. Everybody keeps saying that too. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's something to do, you know.
Oh, it is. It's a good afternoon too because it's like $15.
Yeah.
You know, and then and usually the fields are like in this beautiful place where you can see like a pretty good view.
I know, but I don't want to be in the car with my family that long to get to it. Like. I just, but anyway,
you'll click the no toll button and go. It take you 5 hours to get to the.
I was ready to die. Oh, man. So let's see. Yeah, that's about it though. Like, there's definitely more KMS stuff. I feel like I let my fans down as far as the recapping the week goes, but hey, you know, it's like
it's been a long couple weeks, man.
It really has, and then you got COVID, and then I got sick, and so hopefully we can turn around,
We're gonna nail that interview next week.
Well, that's the thing. So let's talk about that, and then we'll finish up here. So, how are we gonna handle this? Like, first off, I'm going to listen to some of the old Enough About Me. And like try and listen to them from like a.
Well, I'm definitely gonna re-listen to the Leo's portion of the book.
Oh yeah, right. Well, that's yes, yeah. So go through, reread his story, the boy with the green straw story, and then you know what else is interesting? So you were sending me either the tweets or maybe your interaction with Leo's mom, and in her bio. It says that she's the mother of 3 neurodivergent children, which I thought is that's a cute, like, that encapsulates, at least at this point, where I am in her story, that sort of encapsulates her story. You know, like
well, because it's important to remember that neurodivergent means ADHD. It means OCD. It's a lot of different diagnoses under an umbrella because it's truly.
I think that giving her the time to explain that to us is important because one, we're not doing a good job of it, articulating it, and on top of that,
I think I am.
Well, maybe you are. I'm not. I'm not. And I'd like to hear it from her because in the book, and as I think you mentioned either this week or last week, a lot of people describe her as the mother of this new way of thinking about autism.
Right.
So.
I agree.
Well, they describe the father as Canner, I think. So that's not the
really
compliment, I guess. But we need to put together some questions, and we need to figure out how to.
Well, and I think it will just flow. More or less, I don't know if we need specific questions.
No, you don't think so? Okay, so that's yeah.
Yeah, I just want it to be a chat.
Okay.
But we can do portions that we want to get hit on.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want to waste her time. You know, this is sort of a something that runs through the center of my being, which is I don't want to waste other people's time. I know how precious it is.
Oh yeah. She will be fine, man. She's just appreciative. I think.
Yeah, and it's cool.
I
Like,
like to tell her story.
yeah, yeah. I think my story's pretty interesting. I wonder how common my story is. You know, I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think I would. That's the thing is, I think it is more. I think it is more.
I'll send you some of the the late diagnosed people like yourself.
Yeah,
And there's a big group of self-diagnosed.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, from your era.
I have a wife that's pretty much.
And they fight to make it so it's the same.
Yeah.
You might not have a diagnosis, but you have to have autism.
Well, that's what we were talking about last week. As far as it goes, for me personally, is like, well, I mean, it's a spectrum. So whatever the case may be, whether I'm on the spectrum or not, there's so much of it that I see inside myself, and it's again, when you start thinking about it and you're looking at it through the prism of a different way of thinking, and that is very much what Asperger himself was hitting upon with these kids. Like, you know, if you find the
he wrote so beautifully about him.
He does, and it's just like I really enjoyed that. I'm going to pick up something either in his biography, like. Or something about him. I'd like to learn more about those kids. I'd like to learn more about him.
And I think one aspect I'm going to touch on with her is sort of how elegantly the author told her story and how it felt having.
Yeah, right. Well, him too. The author is I talked about this the first week and the second week. Which is what I like about him is that you can see like he made a real connection with Leo, that family, and he made a real connection with that first family too, or maybe that was the first family, but yeah, I like the way he writes.
I do.
You can see why it's a bestseller. Like I mean, like it, it's easy to read. I guess is what I'm saying too.
Yeah, like you can give it to anybody.
Yeah. That was the thing I was talking with you earlier on about. I
want to get past the canner section and to like where it's leading now.
Right. Well, and that's I think we did do a good primer for that for next week.
We did. Yeah.
That's right where we're at.
I'm excited to talk about.
That's what I was about to say. I am getting excited about it again. That the cold, having that cold, really took a lot of my momentum out of me.
Well, the problem is you rely on your energy, and a cold will take your energy.
That's exactly it.
Your brain wants to do what you're used to doing, but your body's like, dude, what the
just
fuck,
can't.
Man?
Yeah, just can't do it. That's exactly it.
That's what I run into too. It's like I'm not used to sitting still.
Yeah, and so I'm sure everybody deals with it, but that's where we're at. But I am getting excited.
Having a kid too. While you're sick. And then you lose daycare because you have COVID, and everybody's like, a cold would be one thing, but like it's COVID, so you lose your daycare for like 10 days.
We had to say, okay, so you know what? Let's finish up the show, and then we'll do a little chat afterwards. So thank you guys for watching. I can't wait for next week. I promise I'll have more clips and more of.
We'll be more prepared. I'm gonna actually wear a nice shirt too.
Well, I'll find a new shirt at the very least.
You should tell your wife, or we can talk about that after.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to have her on tonight. But she's going to be on. She may be on next week, or we may, to finish up the book, we may put together a little.
We have to do a special. Why not?
Yeah, because
we can just talk about it from her perspective of the book.
Exactly. Sigmund Freud's in the field here. My wife is literally, like I said, is the field, and has been joking about me having Asperger's since our first date. So her perspective is going to be a lot of fun, and I may spin it off into that other show I was talking about, where you just interview the significant spouse of a Minifan, like a real, like there's clearly something wrong with us Minifan. Talk to his wife, like who's the best one would be Tim Rigdold's wife. I would love to like
Tim and Canton's wife.
Oh, Tim and Canton's wife, exactly. Like those that would be hysterical. Well, I don't know what it would be, but it would be worth watching, right? I mean, like
for us.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. So So maybe like introduce her either in the special or whatever, and then once I have her on, have sort of a sidebar conversation about just the Minifan universe. She knows nothing about it anyways. Like she's like the last person to talk to about it, but that in and of itself might make it interesting.
It's like my thing.
Exactly. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and I'll probably do something tomorrow night if I have time to just apologize to the 420 guys and figure out what I'm going to do for a Friday night content.